Yeah, hello and welcome. My name is Victor. You can call me Python V. And in this video, I'll be teaching you how to use MySql with Python. So it's not a new thing. You can connect database um, with Python, and if you don't know how or you've been battling with it, I'm going to teach you how to do this, and I'm going to cover the four aspects of this: create, read, update, and delete. Just to cover those four, you can add more security, you can learn how to add security and best practices to do all of these. But I'm going to do the simple one and get you started with the documentations and everything. So the one I chose, the best ones, and the one that I feel like I use more. So there's a package called MySql connector. You have to have Python installed. Have Python installed. Make sure that you've added the environment to your variable, which I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. So if you've not done that, you can just skip this variable. So you can just environment variables. So once you've click on environment variables, you can come here. We have system, we have users. So what is environment variables? Letting your computer know where where your software tools or application tools are installed. So like Python, like Java, or whatever. So where did you install your Python, which is very important? You can come and click and look for I installed my own in PC. If you go to local disk, you come down to Python. So this is Python 3.9. You click on yeah, you can use Python 3.9. So anywhere that there is the python.exe, you can just copy the location, copy the location and come to your path, double click, then add new one. So I think I have mine, so which is Python 3.9. You can see it. I have the scripts, I have the Python 3.9. So that is adding to your environment variables. In case you not understand what this means, you can double add it for both system variables and user variables. So that's just how to add environment variables to your computer. So we jump back into the main aim or the main goal why we're here. So we're going to be using MySql connector 2.2.9 is what I use to connect MySql, because to connect SQL to a programming language you need a driver. So if you have been using what are they calling it, you've been using what are they calling it, Node, you need drivers to connect MySql. You need drivers, and sometimes you need some SDKs and the rest. So for Python, I'm going to be using MySql connector. There are many of them, but this is the one I feel like is best suitable. So you must have Python installed, pip installed, because pip is what is going to install the package for you. So if you come to your command line and you type in, maybe you type in pip and it doesn't work, that means pip is not installed. Or maybe you typed in Python, it doesn't work, Python is not installed. You can install all of this. It's going to work. Now if you're using Anaconda, it is best you install this app. If you installed Python through Anaconda, it is best you install this package via Anaconda prompt. So if you have Anaconda installed, use Anaconda prompt to install your packages. So I'm going to install the package we're going to be working with, which is pip install MySql connector. So we need that, which I think I have. Yeah, I think I have it. So suppose tell me requirements already satisfied. So it says I have that already. If you don't have it, it's going to install it, and I think that is all you need to install. pip install MySql connector. Then you should have Jupyter Notebook. So I know you have. So if you are even going to be diving inside something like this, you might surely have Jupyter Notebook or whatever you're going to run your Python code inside. So that is fine. You can close this. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close this one too. So that's installing the package. You need to install the package, and we're still going to be reading some of these documentations later. So the next thing, you have to make sure you have a SQL database installed. You can use external SQL database. You can use the localhost installed on your PC. So I'm using XAMPP. Yeah, so I'm using XAMPP. So you need to have XAMPP. So I started my XAMPP, I've started the Apache, I've started my SQL. So I have XAMPP working already, and the ports are listening fine. So I'm going to close this. So for me to be sure XAMPP is working, I'll just come to HTTP without what are they calling it? Without S, localhost /php my admin, surely the computer will know where to get this resource from. So you don't need to worry about them. So I have some few database here which I created. You can add more to it. You can delete from it. So we're gonna be doing all of this in the video. So you need to have this installed, and if you are using Mac and you're having issue using localhost, I will tell you what to use. So I think for Mac you need xampp. Xampp needs to be installed. So for just testing purposes and learning and the rest, we are using all of these. So what I'm going to dive in next into is how we're going to now set everything up. So let's begin. Let's dive in. So let's go back to my untitled page. I'll be using some reference here with the one here. So first thing first, we want to install that thing that we want to import that thing that we install. So we want to import MySql connector. Now the name is kind of long, yeah. So let me just call it MySql. I don't want long name. So as means you want to change all of this name to this. So if I print in MySql, we should have this. So that's working. So if we don't have any error, that means this is working already. So let's quickly connect it, because we need to connect whatever we're working with first before we do anything. So let's connect our SQL to our database now. So let's dive in. So now we need to connect it. So the thing we're going to do is that there's a function called con. Con is just a short name for connection. So we need to store our connection somewhere, because we're going to be using that connection to do a lot of things. So we want to have the con, which is equals to, now this is MySql, this is what we want to use, MySql.connect. So we have the local host. In short, I'm going to just grab everything from here. So we have the host, we have the database. So if you don't want to use the parameters like this, you can just put them inside. It doesn't mean so, but so that you can know which one is which one. So the first value is the host. So for Mac users, you can use your 127.0. I think it's 127. If you come here, 127.0.0.1. So use that one. If you're having issue using localhost, you can use that one. Then once you've done that, now what is your user? The user of your localhost. So for the users, we can come to home, we can come to user account. So the default is root, the password is empty. So default, you can create a new one and use. So the default is root, password is always empty. Then the database you want to deal with. So the database we want to deal with today is just, I think I created a database called details, which is, where are you? This is details here. So I've created a database called details, and I have a table there called name. So once you've done that, you run it, there is no error. If you run it and there's no error, that means it connected successfully. Now I want to add some few parameters. It's not compulsory you have all this open, but I'm going to explain what they mean, to the best which I can. So I'm going to create some cause, which is some kind of some attributes I want to set to the connection. So which is cause. It's just like you can use any name for it, but I use cause. Cause is equals to connection.cursor. So I'm going to set some attributes with the cursor, and I'm saying dictionary is equals to true. There are best explanation for this, but the best I'm going to give to it is like I'm going to be working with JSON data, SQL data when it's coming in, and I want Python to be able to read these data very well. That's why I'm using dictionary is equals to true. So there are more explanation to this. I'll show you the documentation, you can learn from it, but you can just have this one on top of your code. Cause is equals to con.cursor. Now let's now do something. Now let's print open database, because that is opening our database. We can also always close it. So it's working, the database is working successfully. Now, so let's do the first operation. Let's read from the database. Let's read from the database. Now we use execute to read from, we use execute to do something from the database. We want to execute something, you execute it first. It's always compulsory for you to execute it. Then you can now perform some operations on those stuff. Now once you execute something, it stores somewhere. once I come here and I say cause.execute, now depending on what I want to execute, now once I execute something, it executes the command and stores it temporarily in cause. Like it's just storing it. The data is there, but it's not going to show you. Now inside this call execute is where you're going to have your query, and I'm going to teach you how to do query. Now the first simple query I'm going to use now, I can just put a variable called query, which is equals to this. So let's say we say select star from names. So that's the name of my database, names. I have a table there called names, which is here, names. So I want to select everything here. I want to bring everything to Python. So I want to bring everything to Python. So select star from names. So let's just use that one. Then you put query here. Nothing is going to exec. Sorry, my spelling was wrong. Nothing is now. If there's no issue, if you did everything well, you will not have any issue, which is working. Now, something is inside cause already. Cause, there is something inside this cause. Understand that this cause here is this connection. So we're just putting it inside, just like saying MySql connect dot causal, but we're just breaking it down. So this cause means all of this from here, the whole database itself. So now we've executed it, but we need to get all those because we are saying we want to read. We use a function called fetch all. So you'll be like, you have to store it somewhere. A is equals to fetch all. Sorry, cause dot fetch all, because I said everything is inside that cause already. Then let's print A. Boom, we have this coming out already. Everything from the database. You can even make it simple and you can say where ID is equals to 3. Boom, it's good. So that is the ID is equals to 3. So we've just done the read. So this is the read. We have create, read, update, delete. So I'm going to do for create, read, update, delete. I'm sure whatever works for update, delete, and create, whatever works for create will work for update and delete, because the only thing that brings data from the back is read, and we've done the aspect of read already. So you can even use a for loop here. If we don't use ID, we just get everything. We can use a let me just use names. So I can say for names, amazing names. I can print in, sorry, not names, name, and boom, you have those. You have everything. Sure, I can get the full name. I can say first name, my main first name. I can get all of them. First name, we have John, Raki, Rama, Maria, and Victor. So that's for create. That's for read. I mean, so we've just read from the database. Now let's dive back into. So I'm just gonna put here and say reading data from SQL. So that's for that. I think that's that. So let me call it C in CRUD. So I'm going to perform the for, and wherever I can get to this night, I'll try. Yeah. So I'm going to pick all of these because I just need these 3. Then I'm going to do for the next one. Sure. Let me pack all of this. So let's try insert. Now insert can be very tricky, so you have to use your mindset to do it well. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So inside my database, I have 4 values. IDs auto increment and its primary key, so I don't need to add that one. I have department, first name, last name, and age. Age is an integer. The rest is a varchar. ID is also an integer. Age is an integer. The rest is a varchar. That means department, first name, and last name are all strings. ID is a number. Age is a number, but I don't need to work on the ID. I just need the age because the ID is going to increase by itself. So back to this place, I want to insert. So let's do create. So let's say insert into names. in brackets, what are the things we want to insert? We want to insert first name, comma, last name. I want to department, like this. Yeah, age. Then we have values. Boom. Then you can put the value here. You can put Victor. Now you have to use what are they calling it? Single quotation if you want to use it inside Victor. Let me use Emeta department. Let me say CS, and I can put a number 4. 4 is just a number. So now I want to use course dot execute. Yeah, what do I want to execute? The query. Then now nothing is going to happen. You come to your database. I think I have a meta there before. Let me just add Victor Damilola so nothing is going to happen. You come to your database, you come to here, you click on names, you won't see that Victor Damilola, and that's because you just prepared the execute statement. You've not even actually performed it. So you need to perform it. You need to commit it. Yeah, let's say commit. So once you've done this, you have to come under here, and you want to say, now you will not use calls again. Just use the connection. That's the connection. Dot commit, and well, it says it doesn't have what are they calling it? It doesn't have this thing called commit. It should be double M, I think. Yeah, sorry. So it has committed, but you should not tell you that it has committed, but it has. So we come back here and we click on names. You can see it, Victor Damilola, and it has been committed. So use commit, and it's going to perform this query. So don't use cause. Why you cannot use cause? Because this cause has this corner, the cursor inside it. So we want the connection itself. We want to commit all the changes. Like con.commit means commit everything like into the system. So you can use con.commit. So you might want to commit like 5 insert, 6 insert. You've executed all of them and you want to commit all of them at once. You can commit them. There is still more to this in the documentation, but I'm trying to rush this thing in less than 25 minutes. So the next one is, so I'm gonna copy this here. I want to be fast. Here I'll call this one sorry, this one's supposed to be read, not see. Sorry, you cannot tell me because I'm recording it. So read the data. So creating data from SQL. So this one is C. Then we are left with U and D. So I'm just copying. So the same now another thing I want to tell you, that if you want to add values from, maybe you want to add values like name, age is equals to 4, you can use the dot format. You can put age, then here you can put here. So this refers to age. This is Python format. This if you are used to this format, maybe you want Victor. The first one is Victor, but always remember that you need to still wrap even this bracket here inside the string. You need to wrap it inside the string, inside the quotation here, like this. Now I'm trying to go through all of these so that you don't like this guy didn't complete everything. So you can have Victor, so it comes first, the one that comes first. So this one comes first, which is first name comes first, last name, department, age. So this age is supposed to be the last. So Victor, Daniel, and department I'll put IT, so you can see everything. So I'll try this again and see if it works. See, it works. So I think I've touched that area and that should be enough. So that's for that. That's for creating and the rest. So let's insert, create a new one. Let's update, I mean. So update is simple. I'm going to delete all of these. So since you understand how this works, I'll show you update. So update, the name of the database is names. What do you want to update? So let's set first name is equals to Ayobami. Now once you want to update, you need the ID. So where ID is equal, so let's look for somebody that we can update. Let's say we want to update Rama Saho. We want to update the first name to Ayobami. So we need this ID 6. That is the primary key. So I'm going to say where ID is equals to 6. So that's done that. I think that's all. Once we come back here, I will click on names. Can you see now? We have Ayobami Saho. So that is for update. Let's try for delete, which is the last one, and I will call that. So this is you updating data from SQL. Let's try the last one, which is delete. Yeah, I'm trying to reach 25 minutes, but I want to go less than that. So boom. So the same thing. Let's say delete data from SQL. So we use the D. Now we've connected the SQL. We've done this. We've done this. We've done this. Now I want to use delete. So delete is like delete from, what's the name of the database? Names. Where ID is equal. So let's delete something. We need an ID to delete. We need an ID and we need an ID to delete. We can use anything to delete. You can delete everybody that is in department is IT. You understand what I mean? But let's use the ID. Let's say we want to delete Maria Gaga. So our ID is 7. So delete from names where ID is 7. So we commit. So once we go back here and we click names, Maria Gaga is gone. And that's all for this particular class. There's a lot about SQL, and I'm trying to help people who have tried to do this. They don't know what is the best one to use, which one to use, and how to use it. There is many. You can come to the documentation here. We have so many things they can teach you. Dev.mysql.com. It's just dev.mysql.com, and you go to the doc, the connector. I'm going to add the link in the. I'll send this file along to in the YouTube so that you can have it there. So I think I just put it. So you can have this. You can check the documentation and this works. It's just for education purposes. Most people know all of these. They've done this. And this is not. I'm not saying this is the best practices. You can still close your connection, do a lot of parameters, your configure, make sure that it's secure, make sure you clear some kinds of errors or kinds of information that is going into the database. There are many like that, but the query can be so tricky. But I think I have covered for create, read, update, and delete in MySql connector. My name is Emeta Victor. You can still call me Python V, and that's all for this particular tutorial. I'll see you in any other tutorial we're going to be having next time. Thank you. Good night.